We recently embarked on our second cruise aboard MSC Virtuosa, and we've certainly formed a lot of opinions about our time on board. But the main question is, would we sail on MSC Virtuosa again? And would we recommend it?
MSC Virtuosa is part of the Meraviglia Plus class, and she is certainly a monster of a ship, weighing an impressive 181,541 gross tonnes and stretching 331.43 metres in length. Virtuosa has 15 passenger accessible decks and could accommodate a staggering 6,334 passengers at full capacity. The ship features 21 bars and lounges, but we found that many of these felt much too small for a ship of this size. That said, she's undeniably a stunning ship, highlighted by her iconic, luxurious Swarovski staircases. MSC certainly knows how to design a stunningly beautiful ship.
If you're new here and this is our first time seeing our faces, I'm Amy.
And I'm Nathan.
And we're Amy Does Cruising.
Now, we've got a lot of exciting new cruise content coming to the channel, including a festive event on Ambassador Ambience and two Marella cruises. One is an Eastern Mediterranean itinerary on Discovery and a Spanish itinerary on Voyager. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you don't miss a thing.
Press the button now. We're not going to move on until you press it.
Press it.
We will move on, but just do it anyway.
The theatre shows on MSC are, in our opinion, rather unusual and don't quite compare to those on most other mainstream cruise lines.
This could be because MSC attracts passengers from a variety of countries, which requires visually engaging productions to overcome the language barriers. This might explain why a random acrobat would suddenly appear mid-show, right after a big musical number. However, Virtuosa's shows were a little bit more static in comparison to other MSC ships.
What did you think of the show tonight?
It was a bit boring. I was a bit underwhelmed by tonight, to be fair. The dancing was good, like the choreography was good. It was just too concert-like. It was just very much like a singer would come forward, another singer would join them, they'd do a bit of harmonising, one would go away, another one would come along, and then just a few dancers in the background. It was a bit wasted in the theatre, wasn't it, really?
Agreed.
It wasn't a full-on kind of theatre show.
Yeah.
During our week on board, we attended the theatre several times and watched a variety of performances.
They had like a violinist.
They had a violinist, they also had a pianist. They had a comedy mind reader, which we didn't go to see, but apparently he was quite good. They also did an ABBA show.
Yeah, they liked ABBA.
They loved ABBA on this ship.
Yeah.
Then we also saw the violinist and the pianist together.
Yeah, that was
They did
really
a Brahms to Broadway concert, which was really good. MSC's productions are, I like to call them weird, wonderful and wacky.
They don't tend to have a lot of like sense.
Yeah, there's not really a proper storyline or narrative, is there?
Or even like a very clear structure.
Yeah.
But they're fun.
There was also a cruise show, which went down very well with our friend Mel.
Performers are all sort of like, international. Even the captain got up and played the piano, and he was really, really good. And it was so emotional. I actually did have a cry. I did actually feel a bit emotional at the moment. It's beautiful. So I think it was actually the best show.
While we enjoyed the shows on our MSC Euribia cruise more overall, we felt the cast on Virtuosa was stronger singers.
So nothing spectacular, but enjoyable, I would say.
Yeah.
Overall.
Yeah.
I mean, we're happy for any show, really, aren't we?
The fact you get a theatre on a cruise ship is a big plus for us.
Yeah, like
you don't get that on a land holiday normally, so
even if it was weird.
a weird plus.
Yeah.
MSC schedules their shows 3 times each evening to allow as many guests as possible to attend. However, with the theatre capacity at around 900 people and the ship holding over 6,000 passengers at full capacity, many guests could still miss out on the performances.
Now, an unusual experience for us on Virtuosa, that for the first time since we began cruising, we weren't allowed to bring drinks into the theatre. This was a stark contrast to our experience a few months ago on MSC Euribia, where drinks were allowed.
It's quite strange because this ship seems to be doing loads of things backwards. Or not backwards, but different from other ships.
While we understand that each ship might operate differently, one staff member was particularly abrupt with Amy about this rule.
Okay, so let me tell you the story. So I have a glass of wine, so I'm walking to go into the theatre. There was a sign. I didn't see it because there was a crowd. It happens, and sometimes you don't pay attention to signs. And there was a guy at the door and he said, "Sorry, there's no drinks." Fair enough, I understood. So I was like, oh yeah, okay. So I walked away, put it on. There was a spare table for people who were going into drinks. And then I came back, he goes, "There is a sign, like really abruptly." And I was like, okay. I don't know. I felt like that was a bit unnecessary. Okay. We found ourselves a little bit disappointed with the variety of music on board MSC Virtuosa. Even our friend Mel commented about the lack of variety regarding the performances.
We also noticed that we often missed sets throughout the evening as they didn't seem to last as long or run as late as we thought they should. This was the opposite of what we experienced earlier this year on MSC Euribia, where the music offerings felt more diverse and consistent.
I wouldn't say that many of the entertainers around the bars really stood out.
No.
They were good, however, whenever we're on a lot of other cruise ships, we do find that we tend to follow.
Yeah, we tend to flock towards certain artists or bands. However, with this one, I felt like we didn't. Musicians and artists off Euribia, which was a few months before Virtuosa, much better, and they're clearer in my mind than they were on Virtuosa.
So I'd say good, but like no standouts.
Yeah. Now that said, we made the most of the themed parties held most nights in the Galleria. These events were a huge hit, with many guests packing in like sardines to enjoy the lively atmosphere. Another highlight for us was the silent disco, which offered 3 different music channels to choose from.
I enjoy the silent disco. Actually, I thought 45 minutes actually is a good length.
Yeah, it's not too much.
Because sometimes I feel like an hour and a half or 2 hours sometimes is a bit too long.
Agreed.
Like you're getting sweatier and sweatier, but I thought 45 minutes was a sweet amount.
Yeah.
It's just enough to get you kind of pumped up.
Agreed.
And then not too much that you get bored.
Mel was saying that she was quite disappointed with the variety of music. She said there wasn't really enough there for her and that she hates stuff like Dancing Queen. However, they did repeat a few songs a few times. Like they played Staying Alive on 2 separate channels like 3 times, like between them. But other than that, it was really fun atmosphere. I really, really loved it. It was fun.
I would say that was one of my favourite parts about the cruise, was how the party vibe.
Yeah, the Galleria parties were one of the best things, definitely, I must say. Everyone just kind of, all the passengers kind of threw themselves into it.
Yeah.
And were just really enjoying themselves, and that's
Yeah.
really nice to see. That's one good thing about MSC.
Yeah. I mean, it was hard to get a drink because it was a place where everywhere flocked. You know, that was, I guess, a minor.
Yeah, minor, because obviously you don't always want to dance with a drink in your hand because you get up spilling it everywhere.
Yeah, especially for me.
Yeah, especially if you're Amy.
One note that I want to say is that MSC Virtuosa seemed to be a bit obsessed with ABBA.
Yeah, they do like ABBA on board that ship. There was an ABBA show,
Yep.
and Let's ABBA party in the Galleria, and
Yeah.
they constantly, throughout the parties, played some sort of ABBA song or ABBA music.
Yeah, and even there was quite a bit of it on the silent disco as well, to the point that Mel even was just like, really? Again? It's
Yeah.
so annoying. Maybe just do the show, or maybe just do the ABBA themed party, but maybe not just multiple ABBAs.
And I'm cool, I love ABBA, so I'm cool with as much ABBA as you could throw, but there was a lot of ABBA.
Yeah.
Definitely a lot of
Even you
ABBA.
must have got sick by the end of it.
Maybe a little bit. I was a little bit avid at the end of the week.
Yeah, it was a bit much.
One aspect of Virtuosa that we found underwhelming was the Carousel Lounge. On Euribia, this venue was a standout, featuring nightly big band performances that created an amazing atmosphere. It also served as a popular daytime hangout, which helped spread the passengers more evenly throughout the ship. In contrast, the Carousel Lounge on Virtuosa felt underutilised, and this may have contributed to the ship feeling much busier overall.
Another small but notable difference was the lack of complimentary snacks in certain bars and lounges. On Euribia, and even on our first Virtuosa cruise in 2021, we were offered crisps or nuts as soon as we sat down. This time, however, we had to specifically request them. While this isn't a major issue, consistency is key.
Service on MSC can be quite a contentious issue, with a lot of people complaining that it isn't as good as on the American-style lines such as Princess, Royal Caribbean and Norwegian Cruise Line. Amy said she experienced a couple of grumpier than expected staff members on a couple of occasions, but who knows, they may just have been having a bad day. We all have them, right?
No, I was just getting picked on, I swear to God. Maybe I just got a punchable face.
Seconded.
One of the consistent challenges with MSC is their lack of effective communication. Even as experienced cruisers who sailed with MSC multiple times, we find that getting information isn't always straightforward. In many cases, details aren't readily offered unless you specifically ask for them, which can be frustrating.
One of the more frustrating aspects of our cruise was the limited use of paper on board. If the app was actually really adequate, I don't think I'd mind.
If it was adequate.
Adequate? Paper menus were unavailable in the main dining rooms unless absolutely necessary. One of our first nights, we requested paper menus but were told to use the QR code that was available instead.
This reliance on QR codes extended to the daily schedules, which are usually delivered to your cabin each day. While paper newsletters were available upon request, which we did ask for as we love to read them, the default option was to access them via a QR code. This code was supposedly provided in the cabin, but we never actually found one.
Now the only QR code I've managed to find is this one, which is for room service. The app's not bad for showing stuff throughout the day, but things like dress codes, you know, what is available in the port, if there's a shuttle or not, how far the town is away, it doesn't really give that much information. So, where's this QR code, MSC? I don't know.
I also had a couple of girls come up to me and ask me why I was so dressed up. And I said, well, it's gala night. And they were like, it's gala night tonight. And they didn't know. Not great, MSC, especially considering this was not an issue on MSC Ribia.
Adding to the confusion, the evening's dress code information was only included in the paper daily programmes and not on the app for some strange reason. The guys kept asking us what they needed to wear and we kept replying, we don't know either. Thankfully, MSC's dress code is very casual and not strictly enforced. While they do have suggested dress codes for most evenings, passengers are free to interpret them as they wish. So much so that Mark had already got into his kind of evening casual gear, and obviously when we messaged the group to say, oh, it's gala night, he's like, I have to change now.
Ironically, we only discovered which QR code they meant on the last night of the cruise, while in Nick's cabin helping him with his disembarkation luggage tags.
Further investigation, and Nick has the QR code.
We found it, now we know what it looks like. We haven't got this in our cabin.
No. After returning home, Nathan also spotted the code in the welcome aboard letter. Good job noticing that one, Nathan. Not.
Overall, we were more than happy with the MSC For Me app. We found it really handy to be able to see at a glance what was going on throughout the day, even if it didn't contain all the information that is normally provided in the paper daily programmes.
The messaging function, which is free of charge to use, as is the app, proved extremely useful in trying to arrange meeting times and places. However, one annoyance with this was that messages would sometimes appear in the wrong order, meaning you might miss an important message occasionally.
Let's fast shoot through some positives and negatives.
Fast shoot?
Yeah. I don't know if I'm making sense.
Yeah, so basically we're going to sum up the pros and cons, our overall experience on board Virtuosa.
Let's start with the positives.
I think the first one's got to be that MSC offers some of the most affordable cruise fares compared to a lot of the other cruise lines around.
Yeah, completely agree with that one.
Drinks packages are fantastic value, especially when purchased at the time of booking your cruise, as they are significantly cheaper than if you purchase them on board.
They're really pricey.
We had the premium extra package and we found that to be excellent, plenty of choice, slightly more expensive than the other drinks packages on board, but we felt it offered immense value.
Agreed. My next positive was the nightlife. Personally, it's one MSC know how to throw a good party.
Yeah, and so much so that Nick said that it was his favourite ever cruise just based on the nighttime entertainment alone.
And the last thing is the ships are stunning. The ship is stunning.
Yeah, you can't deny that Virtuosa and all its sister ships and those kind of bigger MSC ships are just absolutely stunning.
And they bring the wow factor. Okay, so let's just move on to the cons. The things that we didn't like as much.
Now, the first one has to be MSC's communication. Now, this could definitely be improved. It often leaves a lot to be desired.
Chaos and consistent queuing is just a common occurrence around this ship. It can be quite frustrating. If you're easygoing, then it might not be so frustrating.
And one of our final cons has to be about the bars and lounges on board. They're just too small and they lack enough seating, making it difficult for passengers to find seats in there, especially during peak times.
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest.
That's so frustrating.
Yeah. So taking into consideration everything we've spoken about, would we sail on Virtuosa again? Yes, absolutely, but probably not right away. Definitely not anytime soon. While there are definitely things that MSC does that are a bit frustrating, you can't ignore the fantastic value that their cruises offer. The generous drinks package alone is probably enough to make it worth it for us. It also probably didn't help that we only sailed on MSC Arabia, the sister ship to Virtuosa, just a few months before our Virtuosa cruise, which may have exaggerated some of the minor annoyances that we encountered on both cruises. However, if chaos and queuing aren't your thing, then MSC might not be the right cruise line for you. On the other hand, if you approach it with an open mind, you might be pleasantly surprised.
Oh, bugger! We forgot to do the dining aspect.
No, we're fine.
Are we?
Yeah, we already done it.
Did we?
Yeah, on this video here. So yeah, if you want a full review of all the dining on board, that's the one to go to next. Yeah, we'll see you there. We'll see you in 2 seconds.
Yum, yum, yummy.